Realize that it's important to put yourself first in many situations if you wish to have a happy, prosperous life. What do I mean by this? There are many instances of people that often will give time, emotions, and resources to somebody, only for that certain somebody not to reciprocate your energy and intentions. I don't mean to say that when you are trying to give something to someone, you should be expecting something in return, but when you are trying to get to know somebody and that person doesn't have an interest in you and is clearly only using you for your time, attention, or money, it's important for you to realize what is going on and release yourself from this situation. Unshackle yourself. Often it's really hard, but maybe there is somebody we admire, somebody we really like, somebody we just happen to like a lot, and they initially seem to be really nice with us, only to later on change or unmask themselves and show their real intentions. In reality, most people that care about you will care for you, whether you have plenty or little. And people with interest on ulterior motives will more than likely only be happy with you when you are giving them something. Now, this something can be either time, people love attention, money, or something you can do for them. Have you ever crossed your arms, sit down, and ponder, are all the people around me truly genuine? Do they really care for me? Or am I being used for their own gain? This is a really hard pill to swallow sometimes, but it's important to ask yourself these questions. Have you often seen yourself giving more, more, only to get little in return? Do you feel like often you are the one initiating a conversation? When I say that it's important to put yourself first, I mean not to live a selfish life in which you never help other people. What I'm trying to say is that you must learn to identify the people that matter, the people that care, the people that listen and give back in same or bigger quantity than you. This doesn't really mean that you should be putting everything on a scale, and if someone is giving you little in return, it probably doesn't really mean that they don't care. Maybe they are way too busy. However, you shouldn't be giving people that don't reciprocate much of your time and energy, because in the end, what is gonna happen is that you are gonna be heading towards a very unhappy, lonely life when you are finding yourself often buying gifts, being the first to initiate a conversation, or more often than not, stopping whatever you are doing to go meet somebody when they feel like it, not when you can. This is a clear first sign that we need to address a problem within yourself. It may be something related to self-esteem. It may be something related to depression. You may be experiencing too much loneliness and you crave for any type of affection. Or you may be as well extremely highly dependent and you truly need people around you. However, let's stop there for a moment and let me ask you the most important question. Do you love yourself? Do you like who you are? Do you look at yourself in the mirror? Do you hear your voice? Do you feel your existence? And can you say, I love everything about me? I mean, there is nothing wrong if you don't say, or if you say no. At the end of the day, none of us are really perfect, and none of us really have exactly what we want. It's really interesting to put into perspective how someone that can be a model, really pretty and handsome, can often experience body dysmorphia because they want something else. They want to be taller, they want to have prettier eyes, but in the eyes of the world, they could be the prettier people. You must start to analyze who you are. You must just also come to terms with what you have. You need to be honest about these questions, about this conversation within yourself. I believe most of us, if not all of us, always will desire to have something else than what we have. It is very rare to hear somebody being extremely comfortable in their own skin and body, but this is the part in which we must learn to love ourselves. Even though we might not be happy with who we are as of today, we need to start filling in the void within ourselves with self-acceptance. Let me tell you why. The reason why you may often find yourself giving people more of your time, more of your emotions, and more of your money, even though they do not reciprocate, is because you might be lacking what is known as self-love. You might not understand, or you might not like who you are to the point in which you require to give people other things in order to get their acceptance, because you might be thinking that what you are is not good enough for anyone to accept you for who you are. It is within these terms that I understand self-love is very important. Let me tell you a story or an anecdote in this regard. Do you listen my voice right now? People often compliment my voice when they hear it. Some people say it's relaxing, some people say it's soothing. But would you actually believe that for the longest time, before I became a streamer and content creator, I didn't like my voice much? I always wanted it to be different. And without me knowing, the more I stream, the more my voice began changing, and it began sometimes adopting a more feminine trait. However, I came back to the point in which I realized something. If I want to be different and I want to be better, or at least have something else, it must come from a point of self-love and acceptance. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you wish to become something better, a better version of yourself, either by doing diet, exercising, sleeping better, working harder, it needs to come from a point of self-love. I learn to be comfortable as who I am. Therefore, I appreciate everything that I am. Thus, now I can begin my journey to properly become something more. If you ever want to change who you are because your motivation comes from a place of self-hatred, meaning you hate yourself, you dislike certain things about you and you wish to change them, what you are doing is you are creating a non-genuine change. Hatred and negative emotions can be a really powerful drive to change, but it is also really short-lived. What I'm trying to say is that when you have passion and you self-love or you love something, that which you are working forward can be a long-term happiness. But there is not a single being in the universe that can exist for more than a month feeling full of hatred and sadness. You will go insane. Have you ever pondered why, when you are upset, you feel like changing everything around you to be better, and you actually start changing and you see results? But then, 1 or 2 weeks later, you go back to your comfortable mindset and you no longer feel motivated. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Learn to love yourself. Maybe you don't like your weight, you don't like your height, the way you sound, the way you look. Maybe you don't like the way you speak, or you have an impairment for speech. Maybe someone has convinced you that you are not good enough because they have told you so enough times that now you believe it yourself. You must make a stand. I recommend you to do meditation quietly in a room with no phones, no distractions, just you and nothing else. Sit down and analyze the following. Why I don't like this about myself? Is it because I saw somebody that has something better? Is it because I was told that this is bad? Are these ideas of rejection my own? Or have they been implanted in my mind by my parents, my friends, or social media? Or somebody you know? Start to dissect and separate what is your own opinion about what you like and what have you adopted from what other people have told you. Then, if you manage to identify 1 or 2 or 3 things, start to cleanse your mind and stop telling yourself that you hate something because somebody else doesn't like it. The world is full with many billion type of people, and while some people may not like the color red, there is a lot of people that love it. Those traits that make you unique can be something other people will learn to celebrate or will celebrate. And you could be living a life of shame because you have something different, just because the people around you, which is a minuscule part of the universe, have convinced you that what you are is not good enough. We'll begin the process of self-healing in order to later become better. As an example, let's say you are currently overweight and you wish to lose weight because people reject you, and then you start working out. This can be the catalyst for you to start your weight loss journey, but you can also do the following. Motivation must not come from hatred. You must tell yourself, I am gonna do exercise because I want to be healthy, because I want to live a long, prosperous life. Not because people don't like how I look. Not because people don't like how you look. If you, for example, maybe are balding, you don't have hair, and you're still rather young, you will probably find it hard to accept it. Some people don't, they just don't care. But if you care so much about appearances, you need to start to asking yourself why. You don't want to be rejected because of this, but who is the people rejecting you because you have or don't have something? Do they really matter? Do they pay your food at the end of the day? If it's somebody you love and they're trying to make you feel bad because of something you have, they don't love you. They just love an ideal image of you which you are not. And you should probably are better by yourself. When it comes to self-love, it sounds a little selfish because you have to now disregard what everyone's opinion is about you and you must create your own conclusions, which is often hard because we tend to grow up with social media, or if you go back years in time, with television or radio. There has always been a form of influence in our life that tell us that something is right or something is not. Usually parents, social media. We must strip ourselves from these imposed beliefs if we wish to understand what actually is happening within our brain and why we might not like certain things. The most clear example that comes to my mind is, for example, the strong reject people may have towards homosexuals. And this can be a sensitive topic and people may have strong opinions. But this is what I would like to say. When you are created or when you are raised in a family that is extremely intolerant and they teach you to make fun of certain type of people, you imitate exactly what your parents do and you think this is right. You often find yourself in scenarios in which you are mocking the type of people that you have been taught to mock because either beliefs you may have, religion, personal, or something, whatever it is. However, we need to come to understanding as well. These are people that also want to be happy. They are not deserving of hate or mockery. People don't truly won't be able to understand until they have to wear the shoes of others. And more often than not, interestingly enough, as a twist of fate, people that tend to be most vocal towards hating homosexuals tend to be homosexuals themselves, and they hate themselves. They often hate that part about themselves and they are ashamed of it, so they have to be brash about it and talk openly about it. How strong is the reject? Because somebody that loves themselves, somebody that cares enough about themselves, wouldn't be walking around spewing hate unnecessarily towards other people. All of the actions that we see, or most of the things that are found in hateful conducts, tend to come from a place of self-hatred. You know how bullies operate in a school? They often have very troubled households, troubled lives themselves, and they find joy or as a means of escape in bullying other people. Is this justified? Absolutely not. But it just comes to show you how everything would be better if all of us do some heavy introspection about who we are, about the beliefs that have been imposed into us, and coming to our own conclusions. We will often find that we don't really carry hate for anyone or others. It's just all about the self-projection, our own fears of being inadequate, rejected by our peers or the people around us. And back to the topic and how this connects to self-love. Often, most people's dreams don't come a reality, either because of monetary situations or social situations. And the less people can accomplish, the more hateful they become over time. They start to be bitter about life because the things they wanted didn't come true. And when they see others accomplishing things, they feel it's unfair. They feel like, why them? Why not me? It's important and often good to realize that not accomplishing something can be part of life. I have been wishing to do many things in my life, and many of those things were not accomplished. And I felt bitter. I felt unsuccessful. I felt inadequate. And I too was resentful until I was able to find my way out of that feeling by finding a passion, by making content, by being myself, and having the luck of getting accepted by people like you who watch my content, to visit my streams, to spend time with me. It's a blessing, which I appreciate greatly. I believe it's important in that regard to surround ourselves with people that appreciate us for who we are without any string attached. This goes back to the beginning of the video, in which I was asking why some people often give too much to others. I urge you to sit down in the quietness of your own house or room, if you have it, and think who you are. And if you like who you are right now, if the answer is no, partially, there are certain things that you like, but there are certain things that you do not like, you can absolutely work towards improving those things. Pick one and ask yourself, what do you need to do in order to accomplish that? Start working from a place of self-care and self-love. I'm gonna try to improve this thing because it's gonna make my life better, because it'll make me happy. And then you will soon enough discover that by taking care of yourself, by showing that you have self-esteem and self-love, people around you will be drawn to you like a magnet. There is nothing more amazing than a passionate person with self-drive to improve, dreams, and a sense of peace and quiet. It's important to learn how to do self-love. It's important to let go toxic people from your life. Turn the page. It's important to recognize, as bitter and as sad as that may be, to recognize that sometimes people around you don't have the best interest, your best interest in their mind. They just want to make you in their ideas and shape you, who you are, into what they like. You must always stay true to yourself. If at least you wish for happiness, because you can sell your soul and you can be what other people want you to be. But this eventually will not last. This will prove to be quite detrimental for you. This will prove to be extremely taxing, because there is nothing more annoying and tedious than having to do or put on a mask every day and not being yourself. If by any chance being yourself is not your best version today, that is okay. Being yourself doesn't mean to be lazy and complacent of your current situation. It means to be comfortable in your own skin, but always have a desire to be better by improving little aspects in your life, such as, let me make you a list. For example, are you lately sleeping between 6 to 8 hours? That is the minimum amount in order to function properly. It is said that that is the right amount to feel re-energetic the next day. Have you been drinking too much alcohol and tobacco? Smoking. Because that is also gonna be detrimental for your health. Have you been eating too much junk food lately? Listen, I'm not trying to backseat your life. I'm not trying to correct you. or manipulate you into doing or avoiding things that you may enjoy. Maybe a cigarette at the end of a long, stressful work shift is what you need to let go. Maybe the alcohol is what is keeping you going by making you forget the pain. Or maybe insomnia just plays you a really bad time and it just privates you from the ability to rest and recover. However, these three major things that I mentioned can often, if improved, removed, or changed, can be the reason why you can start self-loving yourself. The reason why I bring this topic up and why is it connected, how is it connected to the main topic, is because alcohol, tobacco, and those type of things usually are used by people that have a lot of issues and stress. People that have not healed within themselves something. Part of them is broken. When people drink, they do it to forget sometimes. When people smoke, they do it to control their nerves. Yes, there is people that do it because it may look trendy and cool, but most people that actually are drinkers and smokers have many different emotional reasons behind that. The lack of sleep, insomnia, can also be because maybe you have not moved much lately, you are not spending your energy, or you have a lot on your mind. There is a lot we can achieve with very simple things, such as replacing sugary drinks with water, or at least choose the ones that have less sugar. There is a lot we can do by exercising 30 minutes a day, especially if you spend too much time sitting. There is a lot you can do by stop smoking or vaping. And all of these little things that you can remove from your life or improve will contribute towards making you happier. And it will open the door towards the journey. It will open the door towards the journey of self-love. Because someone that truly appreciates who they are and loves themselves would never, in their right mind, do something that would probably be detrimental to yourself. You know what I'm trying to say? If you are doing things that are hurting you, obviously you have some self-love issues that need to be addressed. If you truly like who you are, you wouldn't be hurting you. And then, here comes the last part or the last topic of the video. What do you do now that you are starting to appreciate these little things? Now that you have started to realize all of these amazing things that you can become, and maybe a lot of issues that you may have buried deep within. If by any chance, from this point onward, you want to be a better version of yourself, I will congratulate, I believe in you 100%. And even though I may not know what you are going through, more often than not, having somebody outside of our own mind believing in us is enough to be pushing the right direction. Let it be known that the path towards self-love and self-accepting yourself is rough. It's filled with opinions from people outside of your own circle, from people around you, family members, influencers. The road to be better begins with yourself. And it's not easy, More often than not, you will find yourself trying to improve, only to quit whatever you are trying because you no longer feel motivated. It's fine. As long as you are conscious, you can always try again. Motivation is really hard to acquire on a long-term basis, such as always exercising, always eating correctly, is almost impossible. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with a lazy day, a lazy week, a meal that might not be that healthiest but is delicious. Because remember, we also have to balance other emotions in life. However, remember that all of these must come and contribute towards you feeling happy, towards you feeling accepted by yourself, which often is the hardest thing to do. A lot of people often struggle with the concept of aging. Why do you think there is an entire industry behind cosmetics and Botox and other things? A lot of people struggle with desire, and this type of things will drain you. You need to be cautious. Without going too far from this topic, my own mother often has gray hair and she continues to dye it back to her original color. I suppose because she doesn't want to accept the reality of things or she feels pressure. But it's just an example of how very little things in life often we try to hold on to because we are scared that we may get rejected or the opinion of people around us will change if we hide certain parts of us. Please be very careful with this. To wrap things up, one important thing now that you understand a little bit more about self-love, when someone is attacking you, insulting you verbally, even though that is not okay, you can understand that their hatred towards you, either because of how you look, how you talk, how you behave, comes from a place of self-hatred from the person that is using or abusing you verbally. Now, this knowledge often can be used to talk to them after and when they're ready to be rational again. I don't mean for you to just sit there and take the abuse or the insults, but if you truly want to mend something with somebody that is after you for a reason or whatever thing, you can now have a conversation with them and understanding from a place of comfort that they are attacking you because they fear something. And that something they fear probably is within themselves, very well hidden. They will probably not open that up to you, but you have the right tools to use the right words if you truly wish to approach a person that is being negative towards you. And ideally, remember that you are not here to change people's mind. You are here to make yourself better, to have a good life, not to struggle arguing with one another, unless, of course, you find joy and happiness in doing so. I will explain to you that in my case, I am a transgender girl. To some people on the internet, I'll just be called a man. I don't care. I am not here as a content creator to change people's perspective, be in acceptance or reject. What I'm trying to do with this type of videos, first of all, is offering you some relaxation with my voice. But if you somehow manage to stay awake and listen to the whole conversation, my second objective is to bring people together I want people to learn that even though we are divided by opinion and we may not like each other, it doesn't mean we need to radicalize ourselves into hating one another. The world is big and vast for you, me, and anyone to coexist in harmony without messing with one another. This is a really harsh hope of mine, almost impossible to accomplish, but instead of dividing people by skin color, religion, opinion on certain topics, I want to bring people together by sharing common interest, such as, for example, video games. I'm pretty sure everyone here loves video games. Maybe music, art, and even so, you will soon realize that it is impossible to appeal to everyone. If there is something I want you to take from this video, is the fact that you must learn to self-love yourself and realize the importance of not spending your emotions and energies on people that don't matter in your life. Let it be the following. If you try to make everyone around you happy, you will soon realize you will no longer be authentic, because people have very diverse, different opinions. Instead of trying to make everyone happy, you should try to focus on making yourself and the right people happy. This way, you will accomplish being authentic, being unique, staying true to your personality without having to put on a mask to appeal to people that don't truly care for you. And you will also embrace self-love, because there is nothing better in life than being yourself and being loved for it. I hope this video finds you well, and I hope that you manage to rest. Thank you so much for the support. I noticed that even though I have only 3 videos, there is a good amount of interest for them, and I will keep providing you with this every now and then. I hope you are always well, that you are able to rest, that you are able to heal anything that may be hurting, in case you do. And with all that being said, I'll be signing out. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for coming to my Twitch streams. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for GamerSupps. Thank you for everything that you do, or just by simply watching my content, to the extent or little you may enjoy it. I will be going, and I am gonna be preparing more videos in the future. Have a wonderful night. Get some nice rest.